Hello, everybody who's here joining us live. And I'm very, very honored to be on Global Speakers Talk live event on this 15-minute talk, a power talk, which is all about the nature of reality. And why is this so dear to my heart? This topic is very interesting. Well, let me introduce myself. I am Robert. I'm Dutch Indonesian. I've traveled the whole world extensively all my life. I speak 5 languages. I am a musician. I'm a great cook, if I may say so myself. I was baptized at around the age of 12 and decided to follow the Catholic Church, studied the Bible with the nuns for 2 years, and started working as a management consultant. Went from major multi-billion dollar projects to letting everything go and disappearing from the face of the earth because I wanted to know these 3 vital questions. Who am I? What I was what was I meant to be doing in this lifetime? And where am I going when I drop the body? And that's when my life seriously began. However, now I gave you a little description of who I am, but the reality of the matter is it's not who I am. It's who I have become. These are the labels that were put on me. These are the certain things that I've done in my life to create my own self-image with which people can identify me and the way I can identify with. But in reality, it's not who I am. It's just a conglomerate of ideas, mindset, a mind construct, and nothing more than that, because I am not my name. I am not my body. I am even not my thoughts. I am not all these things that I was mentioning, which is why, in reality, when I actually introduce myself to people, I usually never say, "Oh, hi, I am Robert." I usually say, "My name is Robert." And when I identify with Robert, oh my God, then I have to deal with the Robert that was conditioned in his life in a certain way. And also in a way in my past that I might have been influenced in a negative way. So the danger is being constantly under the influence of these moments in my life where I might have experienced negative experiences. So, from a quantum physics perspective, they actually have discovered, and this is just an easy thing to say, but really an incredible thing to fathom, because in quantum physics, they have found that there are actually an infinite amount of parallel worlds existing next to ours. So, in this sense, I say we are actually multi-dimensional beings having this 3 dimensional holographic experience. I can go into much detail about this, but that would actually take much too long. But I want to bring it to a practical level because, as I was saying, it's not something that we have to challenge as a philosophy. No, this is a practical matter. It's nothing woo woo. You know, when I say, oh, I'm a multidimensional being, not at all, because everything that we talk about in the context of spirituality and spiritual expansion has a practical application. Because otherwise, yes, we can imagine things. Oh, it's wonderful to say I'm a multi-dimensional being, but have I experienced that? Yes or no? Well, strange enough, in my childhood, I've had many, many out of the ordinary experiences. And I knew as a child they weren't of this reality. And so when we look at the nature of reality, we're only perceiving a very minute part of the light spectrum. And just because we don't see most of what is out there, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's just on another frequency that we cannot perceive. So, on a very practical level, what does that really mean? Well, I actually say that very seldom is there a meeting of two minds. What are we always doing in life? Well, when we're conditioned, then we're conditioned, which means I'm always perceiving reality through my colored lens. And I can be prejudiced. I have my own ideas. And what am I doing with these ideas? I'm actually continuously superimposing reality on my ideas and my thoughts and my reality. So, another question I'd like to pose is there a way that I can perceive from a point of the absolute? How do I know that what I'm observing or what I am perceiving is something from the absolute and not something that I'm creating out of my own imagination and the way that I've been conditioned? And how do I know that when you are saying something to me, that I'm perceiving it in the way that you are meaning it, and or that you're saying something to me in the way that you mean it? How do I know? And the answer is actually very simple. One, yes, there is a way to witness from the absolute. And I use the word witness because we have to become the witness. We have to become the observer. And the way to do that is to stop superimposing our ideas on reality. And what does that mean? Well, actually, to stop thinking or labeling anything at all of what you are perceiving in the outside world. Even in the Far Eastern culture, in shamanism, and many, many other ancient mystic schools, they are actually saying that the world outside of ourselves does not exist. In shamanism, we say the world is a dream. That doesn't mean that the world is not real. It just means that dreams are real. We are always dreaming everything into being, which is magnificent when you understand that I create my reality on the basis of my thoughts. So I have the choice to think whether I like somebody or not. But liking somebody or not liking him is very much dependent on the colored lens. Once you let go of this projection of all our own thoughts and ideas about reality, what happens is you start perceiving things that actually were never visible for you in the first place. As an example, I had a very good friend approach me on the street that I hadn't seen for a while, and she came with her new boyfriend. And he was being very nasty to her. And the way he was talking down to her was very degrading. And I immediately realized that it was a preconceived idea of mine. It was just the way I was perceiving it. And how do I know if it might not be just a pure projection of what I think relationships should be and the expectancy I have how men should treat women? So I realized that it was projection. And what I did was just say to myself, but no, I'm sure this man has a very gentle side of himself and that he's very kind and that he could be very graceful. And the instant I did that, it was just like magic. Instantly, this man completely shifted the reality of what I was perceiving in that very instant. And I saw a very, very kind man and very loving. And, and I realized that what I was projecting onto him was merely the way I was perceiving reality in regarding men and their relationship to women. Now, isn't that interesting? So bring that into your relationships at work. What's continuously going on there? We're always projecting our ideas on reality. Oh, I just don't like this boss at all, right? I've heard many of my clients tell me that thing. Oh, I just really, and nobody in the office likes this woman, for instance. And so they corroborate the way they're feeling to justify their perception. And yet they can be completely wrong. And think of this. You walk into a room, you walk into the tram or a bus or a train, no matter what, and you immediately scope your area around you, and you'll immediately identify, according to the way you are perceiving, who you like, who you don't, who you feel attracted to. You walk into a party and you immediately, oh, they look so kind and they look so this, and you immediately gravitate towards the people and leave those people that you feel less inclined to connect with. And you might not be realizing that you're limiting your experience completely because of this very fact. So this is very interesting. And try it. Just try it. Stop labeling everything. Withdraw your own perception of reality. When we meet, and this is the interesting, when we meet free of our own projections, don't think anything at all of the other person, nothing at all, with an open mind, active listening. When one person talks, the other one just listens, and usually we immediately have our own thoughts that superimposes the conversation, and we already want to interrupt, which happens so often. But no, stop, stand still, absorb what they are saying, and only when they are finished saying what they wanted to say, take the time to think about this and then respond. And if the other person immediately wants to come with his own commentary and his own idea, just kindly ask him, no, wait a minute, let me first finish what I wanted to share. And give them the chance to think over what you just shared. So what happens is we create an opening, which is wonderful, a vacuum within which a third force emerges between the two meetings of a mind. Because of their openness, this third force is created, which is actually interpreted in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, mind, body, and spirit. The third force is spirit. Something special emerges out of our meeting, which stands free of our own judgment, our own preconceived ideas, and then something magical happens. It's called the third force. Soccer players unconsciously know this, and maybe they do consciously, but what do they always do when they score a goal? Right? They go and they look up, right? They're actually contributing, being in the right place in the right time when that ball comes in, they head it into the goal to a higher force, which is a third force. And you can only do that specifically in that area of sports when you are completely free. You're in the zone. But this is something that we can all practice. And the beauty of it all is that in that way, we bring our relationships to a higher level. We bring our projects to a much greater fruition. We have the chance of creating something in the true team spirit where we elevate things to such a high degree that there is absolutely no chance of failing. It's just really magnificent. So I want you to try that. Let me take a look here. Yes, I want you to try that and think of this as an exercise. Stop thinking and labeling anything around you at all, because our energy is stuck in our projections, and then we don't have enough energy to even perceive anything else than what we want to see. So I always say, heal whatever we need to heal so we don't have to look through the lens of our wounds. Free of all judgment, prejudice, and free to move beyond the limitations of our conditioning. So thank you very much. That was my power talk for today.